And the Atlantic Coast Conference present ACC Sports Sunday. Today from Byrd Stadium, it's the University of Maryland Terrapins and the North Carolina Tar Heels for the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. It's a beautiful day here in College Park as the 11-1 top-ranked Tar Heels take on the 3-3 Terrapins of the University of Maryland. Hi everybody, I'm Kenny Albert, joined by former University of North Carolina coach Willie Scroggs, who led the Tar Heels to 3 national championships during the 1980s. Willie, a bit of deja vu here this afternoon at Byrd Stadium. It's the 3rd straight year that Maryland and North Carolina meeting for the ACC Championship.
Kenny, last year's game in particular, Maryland had a big lead and North Carolina came back to win that game in dramatic fashion, and I anticipate another tough, close game here in Byrd Stadium.
Now, the reason the Maryland Terrapins are here and not the Virginia Cavaliers, a 9-8 Terps overtime victory, the first ACC tournament to ever go to an extra period, and they won it on a goal by Scott McMahon, a senior attackman.
Scott handled the ball an awful lot for Maryland the whole game on Friday night, and I anticipate that he's going to want the ball today. What you like to see in a senior and an attackman is someone that wants the ball, and it's championship time, and I think he's going to want the ball today.
Now, Coach Dick Adell and the Terrapins have faced North Carolina once this year here at Byrd Stadium, a 12-6 Tar Heels victory. Some adverse conditions, rain and wind and hail. Earlier today, I had a chance to talk to Maryland coach Dick Adell about that first meeting with the Tar Heels.
Kenny, I hope it's a highly competitive game. Obviously, the conditions today are virtually the exact opposite of what they were back at the end of March. It was raining. The field was in horrible shape to begin with, and this is a perfect day for what I think and hope will be a great lacrosse game.
Is this a must-win situation for your club in terms of looking ahead to the NCAAs?
I won't say that. You know, it's a must-win game for us just from the standpoint that we desperately want to capture the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. It's our 3rd straight championship game, and we played just one hell of a game last year at this point in time, losing to the Heels with 8 seconds to go, and that sticks in our memory, and we are just anxiously looking forward to playing as well as we can play this afternoon.
Coach Dick Adell and the Terrapins with a tough task today, going up against the North Carolina squad led by senior defenseman Alex Martin.
Any team sport, lacrosse included, you have to play great defense, and that's been one of the keys for North Carolina all season long. Headed up by Alex Martin, our senior defenseman, who was the player of the year in the conference last year, and Alex is going to be a very important player today. And
Alex Martin, local product, a native of Owings Mills, Maryland, playing about 30 miles from home. Now, earlier today, Willie had a chance to talk with his former assistant coach, the head man of North Carolina, Dave Klarman.
Dave, this is the 5th year that North Carolina's been in the championship game in the tournament. How do you address that with the team?
I don't know if many of my guys are aware of it to begin with, so it makes it a little easier for me. It's one of our goals. We hope to get here, but it's not that big an issue. I'm glad to be here. I'm proud of the accomplishments, but it's not a problem for us as pressure or anything like that. We're glad to be here.
Dave, Maryland played, I thought, terrific defense on Friday night against Virginia. What kind of problems does that defense pose to you, as well as some other things that you may anticipate from Maryland?
I think Maryland's playing very hard and tough and smart defense right now. They've got good athletes. I think they're inspired. They've got that sense of urgency and back to the wall. And we just have to play with some poise and patience and still play with the same type of passion that I think North Carolina brings to the field. And besides their defense, I don't understand how Coach Adell gets his offense to do what he tells them to do. That bothers me. I'll have to talk to him after the season's over, because I can't do that.
Tar Heels coach Dave Klarman has won the ACC Championship each of his first 2 years, trying to do it for a 3rd time here today. It's the Maryland Terrapins and the North Carolina Tar Heels for the ACC Championship. We'll be back with the starting lineups from Byrd Stadium in College Park right after this. Welcome back to Byrd Stadium in College Park, Maryland. Kenny Albert along with Willie Scroggs. The North Carolina Tar Heels looking to win their 6th consecutive ACC championship. Maryland won the tournament for the last time back in 1987. Here we see the starting lineups for the Maryland Terrapins. Robert Chomo along with Scott McMahon and Matt Parks. Eric Elfstrom, Bob Huggins, and Dan Reading. And Matt Ritter along with Bresci and Paradine, and in goal,
15 seconds.
There you see for the Maryland Terrapins, Matt Beck.
Kenny, there have been no changes from their starting lineups all season, so that means that none of the kids got injured on Friday night, so there won't be any replacements in here at the start.
And in goal for the North Carolina Tar Heels, Gary Lehrman.
Gary Lehrman is a reserve goalkeeper, a second stringer who's filling in for the injured Billy Day, and North Carolina thinks he's filling in very, very well.
Billy Day suffered a fractured vertebrae against Johns Hopkins a couple of weeks ago, so Gary Lehrman gets the start in goal once again. And it's Maryland on the attack, going from right to left in this first quarter. This is Huggins. Bob Huggins, a senior from Sykesville, Maryland. Number 11 is Scott McMahon. He scored the game winner on Friday night in overtime against Virginia. McMahon trying to scoop it up. North Carolina in their white uniforms, trimmed with blue. This is Huggins once again.
Kenny, Tar Heels are starting out with Greg Paradine on Scott McMahon, which means they probably think he's going to handle the ball more in the left-handed position. Alex Martin is up on the sophomore Chomo.
This is Reading in the far corner. Dan Reading behind the net for the Terps. Bob Huggins.
Kenny, Maryland has played an offense where they try and work and get good situations on individual one-on-ones.
And Huggins scores, giving the Terps a 1-0 lead. Bob Huggins, his team-leading 10th goal of the season.
Kenny, that was a great individual effort by Huggins. He came right, turned, and shot the ball high left-handed, offside. Pretty good shot from about 10 yards.
Here it is.
Watch him stop now. He's going to turn and come lefty. He's got to step on a defender and gets it off.
So the Maryland Terrapins strike first. They lead 1-0, just 1 minute, 2 seconds into this first quarter. Remember, Willie, the Tar Heels did not score in the first quarter on Friday night against Duke, the first time that's happened to them all year.
Kenny, I think in any sport, you'd like to get the first goal, the first basket, the first whatever, and to have the first shot that Maryland takes score a goal has got to be a great lift for them. A technical foul on the face-off, a held play-on situation, Maryland gains possession. Kenny, you'll see Maryland isolate a lot with some of their better midfielder types on the Carolina midfielders trying to get a better advantage.
This is Sean Crawford for Maryland, number 18. Jay Pasco behind the net, being watched by John Dolan of North Carolina. McElhaney, Ryan McElhaney, out to Chomo.
Now Alex Martin will tighten up on this kid, and he will try and take the ball away if he can. You'll see a lot of pressure. The official's going to call a hold on the Maryland guy, which is kind of unusual, which must have meant he held the defender's stick.
The officials here this afternoon, Scott Boyle, Charlie Libby, and Tommy Brannon. The North Carolina Tar Heels. This is Ryan Wade.
Ryan just, as we say in lacrosse, he just punt returned the ball out. He ran it out all by himself.
Ryan Wade leading the Tar Heels with 22 goals. This is number 14, Steve Spears, senior out of Fayetteville, New York. The Tar Heels with a record of 11-1, ranked first in the nation. Their only loss came at the hands of the Virginia Cavaliers by the score of 13-12. This is Spears.
Kenny, most teams will have what they call an opener. First time you get the ball, you're going to have kind of a set look for some pick and stuff, something that everyone knows they're going to be looking for. If that's not there, then they'll call something else and get to another set play.
3 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Maryland leading it by the score of 1-0. Spears cutting in front.
Going to be a foul on the Maryland defender for holding. You cannot hold with your stick in the sport of lacrosse. You can hold with your arms and your body, but not the lacrosse stick. Watch Steve Spears come around left-handed, number 14, and see that stick holding right there? He's trying to take his head off.
That's number 25, Dan Redebon, the Maryland Terrapins.
The Tar Heels will have a 30-second man advantage. And again, this is a situation, Kenny, that the Tar Heels will have some kind of play. And if that's not there, they'll adjust. Only a 30-second foul.
The Tar Heels have scored on 44% of their extra man opportunities.
North Carolina in what we call a 3-3. Everybody in front of the goal. They're just going to try and draw and shoot, it looks like. It's 6-on-5.
Here's the shot, and that goes wide. The shot taken by Ryan Wade, as we said, the leading goal scorer on the Tar Heels club. He had 3 against Duke on Friday.
Ryan is maybe the best shooter on North Carolina's team.
Now in front.
That's a heck of a ground ball that Danny Levy picked up to keep the play alive. Penalty's over now.
Wade finds Webster on the far side.
This is a situation and take advantage if Maryland doesn't check up.
Tar Heels on the move once again. They've tied it at 1.
Oh, great cut by DJ Shemitis for Carolina.
Steve Spears behind the net, watched by Eric Elstrom of Maryland.
Kenny, lacrosse, like a lot of sports, there's a lot of individual trying to draw another defender, as you see right there.
He was looking in front for Webster. Chased down by Usman Green.
Lacrosse says the same thing at basketball. Little two-man games where you try and draw the opponent's defensive player and get something going.
Maryland and North Carolina tied at 1. This is the 3rd consecutive year that these two teams are playing for the ACC Championship. John Webster looking in front.
The footing's not real good in front of that cage. You see a lot of kids slipping down in that loose skirt in front of the goal.
White foot. That's a white foot.
Called a push on the North Carolina, and they get a play on in lacrosse, Kenny, where they'll let the action go and see if Maryland can take advantage of it. Sort of like a slow whistle in hockey. You take the advantage in soccer. They do the same thing in lacrosse.
Maryland Terrapins, the 4th seed in this 14 tournament.
Oh, and Maryland throws the ball right out of bounds. That's a tough play because there was a guy coming for the ball. Tough play for Maryland, and they turn it over.
The pass was intended for Huggins, who scored the Maryland goal. And it will be Tar Heels possession.
We'll look for Donnie McNichol just to try and dodge the ball out. Hope he just finds a guy open.
Let's go, D! Go, defense!
DJ Shemitis with the ball, and he was being played by one of Maryland's low defenders, so I think Maryland may need to check up here a little bit.
This is Steve Muir, number 32. Watched by Pat McGuire. Carolina setting things up easy. Throws back out to Muir. 9.5 to go in this first quarter. It's Maryland and North Carolina tied at 1. AC thought about spinning in front.
15. Next time. He's stopping me, man.
Usman Green. Watched by Greg Nalen. Now they set it up behind the net once more.
It's just a little ISO play here, Kenny. He's looking to go for himself and draws a man. And Maryland covers up very nicely.
35 White is holding him up.
And holding call.
Kenny, that was a moving pick, just like in any sport. When you have the ball on offense, you can't block or move on picks when you've got the ball.
And you saw Dave Farmer, the head coach of the North Carolina
Watch
Tar
number
Heels.
35 in here, kind of rubbed that guy off, and the referee said he was moving.
Now the Maryland Terrapins carry upfield. We're tied at 1. Maryland scored first, just a minute in. Bob Huggins. With his 10th of the season, Mike Acey tied it for Carolina. Scott McMahon, who scored the overtime winner Friday night against Virginia.
For reading it, try and wrinkle and go a little bit or draw somebody. Then he's going to take a shot.
And the save is made by Lehrman. Still loose in front of the net, and finally the goalie Lehrman sending up towards midfield. Dan Levy plays it ahead.
Oh, that's a tough play. Danny got away with it a little bit. I think the thought was good, but he put the ball in a tough spot for Steve Spears to get it. Now they'll change on the fly a little bit, Kenny. Like ice hockey, they'll run lines on and off the field. Normally they run about 2 or 3 minutes on a line change. You see Maryland trying to get more of their defensive people in the game, and North Carolina trying to get some of their offensive people in the game.
Easy throws up top. Kyle Durkee, number 21, just off the bench. Tar Heels setting things up once again. This is Levy behind the net. Trying to move in front on Hayes. He shoots, and it goes wide.
Good backup by Mike Acey. They're great things if you can back that ball up like that, because you may be able to put it right back and come right back at him.
Ryan Wade moving in, double teamed. Now he shoots, and that hits the side of the net.
You watch Ryan Wade handle the ball and get his shot off like few people can do in college lacrosse.
Ryan Wade, a junior from Davidsonville, Maryland. He's coming off a hat trick against Duke on Friday. The Tar Heels and Blue Devils were tied at 2 at halftime, but a big
Nice
second half.
little
Here's
play.
Wade.
That's a nice little play, sort of like a give and go.
That's 2 excellent opportunities for Ryan Wade in the last minute.
Watch Durkee look for Ryan Wade's left hand as he cuts off a pick, and he just misses the goal.
Now the chase for it. It's scooped up by McGuire, and then he lost it. And the ball rolls out of bounds in front of the Maryland bench. It will be Tar Heels possession.
Kenny, those kind of fights for ground balls, they look awful sometimes, but boy, are they important in lacrosse, because you've got to gain possession of that ball, and we call them scrambles or unsettles, and if you can get control of it, they're great offensive opportunities.
Here we go, goalie! Left top!
I think North Carolina's now already has got 3 midfields in the game. It's going to be a hot afternoon, and they're going to probably play a lot of guys here this afternoon.
Beautiful day here in College Park. These teams met earlier, back on March 27th here at Byrd Stadium. North Carolina won that game 12-6 in the rain. A muddy field.
Danny's got something.
And they score. The Tar Heels take a 2-1 lead on the goal by Dan Levy, his 17th. Dan Levy, a senior from nearby Baltimore.
Danny Levy, a boy from City College, my alma mater. Watch him go inside, roll behind the goal. He gets a step on the guy. Great shot.
So the Tar Heels off to a 2-1 lead.
There you see it again. That's a great play for Danny to put that away. No backup coming from Maryland, and I know that Coach Adele will be talking about that.
Dan Levy's father played for Johns Hopkins.
That's right. Stephen and I were teammates. But we knew about Danny Levy, the North Carolina people, for a long time.
I wonder if you had anything to do with his decision to become a Tar
May
Heel.
have had a little bit to do with it. Steve Bureau's got a chance here.
Nice save there by Back.
Now Maryland's got 10 seconds to get it out of their end, or their defensive end. Look for North Carolina trying to just scramble around and delay them, but Maryland's got it out of the area.
This is Chris Grimmer in number 35. Terrapins trailing it by the score of 2-1 with 5.5 to go in this first quarter. Live from College Park, Maryland, the 1993 ACC Lacrosse Championships. Eric Elfstrom.
Eric's being played by John Dolan, who is 6'5", 220-some pound kid, and he can move.
This is Huggins. His shot, he scores! Second of the game for Bob Huggins, and we're tied at 2.
Again, another just great individual effort. 2 shots, 2 goals for Huggins. He just runs by the Carolina defender, gets his shot off right-handed this time, low and away, low and stick side.
Bob Huggins, the co-captain, scored 2 in the semis against Virginia and has 2 goals here in the first quarter.
Kenny, Gary Lehrman, the Tar Heel goalkeeper, he's got to get a better look at that ball, because anytime someone's isolating with the ball, you get good looks at them. Maryland kid squirts the ball out in front. They may have a little bit of a break situation.
Here's the shot. That goes wide. The shot taken by Matt Parks, a junior from Parkville, Maryland.
Maryland had a little bit of a break situation off the face-off, and they went right to the cage with it, which I like to see. I think that's great kind of offensive action. They're tough to defend.
Do you feel there's any extra pressure on Lehrman, considering that he's come in to replace the injured Billy Day here at a tough time down the stretch?
Kenny, I think he is under great pressure. He's a smart kid, but coming in and stepping in for a goalkeeper is a difficult thing to do.
Here's the shot, and it hits the crossbar. The shot taken by Sean Crawford, number 18 for the Terrapins.
Kenny, I'll venture to say this, that Maryland normally doesn't shoot the ball as much as they're shooting it right now. And I think they want to get as many shots on Gary Lehrman as they possibly can.
Coach Dave Klarman of North Carolina says that Lehrman has gotten better every game. He was shaky his first outing against Virginia, had a tense first quarter against Duke, but since then has played well. He says he's not as athletic as Billy Day, the senior. Lehrman, a junior. And he's allowed 2 goals so far here in this first quarter. We're tied at 2. Maryland with the ball.
Well, Friday night's game, Kenny, if you remember, Maryland played very deliberate. Now, whenever they've got an opportunity, they're putting the ball on target, trying to shoot it.
McMahon's pass broke it up. And McMahon over there to get it.
He's fights for the ground ball. They're going to have a play-on call here, and he chests the ball. What that means is he put that stick against his chest to withhold it from play. Watch number 11 put the ball on his chest right there. And now the defenders can't get it, and that's withholding the ball.
3:47 to go. Here in this first quarter, Bob Huggins with both Maryland goals, Mike Acey and Dan Levy for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Kenny, I think what we're seeing already from Maryland offense is they're going to shoot the ball. I think they feel like they've got to get their shots on Gary Lehrman.
Unlike the Maryland game Friday against Virginia, as you said, when they played a very deliberate style.
Much more deliberate.
Waited for the perfect shot.
Now what could happen in that case is that may mean that North Carolina may be able to get some balls. If Gary can get pieces of balls or keep the ball alive, North Carolina may get more possessions out of it. So it's kind of a two-edged sword for them.
Tar Heels setting up behind once again.
Danny's going to look back righty. He's got a guy open and the goal.
Beautiful pass by Levy in front. And it's put home by Usman Green, his 17th of the season. And Green has now scored in 12 of the Tar Heels' 13 games this year.
Usman Green was a transfer. Watch Danny go back right-handed. He'll look cross cage. He finds Usman right-handed, wide open. That's what we call kind of a backside, backdoor cut. He cut away from the play.
Terrific shooting percentage. Usman Green has now scored on 17 of his 31 shots this season.
Yeah, we tell Coach Klarman he should shoot the ball more.
When you get a perfect pass like that from Levy, it's hard not to score the goal. 3-2 North Carolina, late first quarter. Kenny Albert along with Willie Scroggs, longtime coach of the Tar Heels, 3 NCAA championships, 6 ACC titles.
Maryland's made some substitutions, I think, Kenny, to try and just get some different kids in the game because it's going to be a long afternoon. I think they've got some other attackmen in. Ball's checked on the ground. There's a flag down. See what the referees can figure out here. They're counting players here.
Somebody along the sideline screaming unsportsmanlike.
They're calling a technical foul, illegal substitution on North Carolina, and I believe it'll give the Marylands the first extra man opportunity of the day for them.
What do you look for the Terps to do here? You think they'll set up, look for the perfect shot, or keep throwing the ball on net on Gary Lehrman?
I think they're going to shoot the ball. I think they're obviously going to shoot the ball. Maryland's starting right now in what we call 3-3. Everyone in front of the goal. There'll be some kind of cutting action. Whoever's on the inside is kind of a key, and they've got number 11, McMahon, in there now, and he probably won't stay there. He's probably going to go behind the cage.
Number 43 for Carolina, serving the penalty, 30 seconds.
Terps working around.
They're working it around right now, but here comes the play. There goes number 11 behind. They're in a circle now, Kenny. North Carolina in the zone. No one's playing the ball behind unless he comes.
It's Scott McMahon behind the net.
Maryland's now in a 1-4. 4 guys across the goal.
McMahon back to Rob Chomo.
This guy's got a shot.
Tried to bounce it in, and Bob Huggins are not able to get out for the hat trick.
The penalty's over now, but now you got to get checked up. You got to get checked up.
Under 2 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Here's the shot, and a save is made by Lehrman. off the shot by Reading.
Good job by Gary. I think they're going to call move and pick on North Carolina. Kenny, what that meant is Gary had possession of the ball, and number 41, Greg Paradine, was trying to block for him and help him, and that's just like an any call.
Carolina, now in possession.
Gary gets a piece of it with his ankles. Now watch number 41, if we continue it.
55! Oh, you Greg!
Just a great save by Gary. Gets his feet together and stops the ball, but there's a moving pick on the scramble. Watch 41 right there as Gary's got the ball.
That's Greg Paradine. So Maryland still with possession, trailing by the score of 3-2. A minute and a half to go in this first quarter.
Kenny, I've made this point to you before. North Carolina had the opportunity to get the ball out. They had it. Technical foul. Now Maryland's got another chance. If you keep giving good teams 2 or 3 chances in a row, they're going to make something happen.
David Goko had it stick checked away from him. Goko, number 7 of the Terps. And it's McMahon trying to scoop it up. He does so.
Maryland did a great job on the ground ball. They're going to have something here. Oh, Gary goes over his head. Greg Paradine over the head check. He's got to look for a midfielder type to get it to.
So a good defensive play by Paradine, who then threw it away. It's intercepted by Hayes.
I think Gary got a little bit impatient. He had 10 seconds to get it out, but you don't want to give them an opportunity. You'd rather lose the ball in a technical foul and play defense than give the other team maybe a scoring opportunity by throwing an ill-advised pass.
30 seconds to go. Here in this first quarter, it's North Carolina leading Maryland by the score of 3-2.
3 possessions in a row now for Maryland. North Carolina failing to get the ball out.
This is Eric Elfstrom.
Eric tries to feed a left-handed cut in Matt Parks. Those kind of plays, Kenny, you've got to put the ball right on the guy's stick. He can't reach for passes like that.
We're down to 10 seconds to go. You can see the clock.
Now, Kenny, remember Friday night how many goals were scored with less than 20 seconds in quarters. It's going to be tough for North Carolina. They got a clearing situation. They'll either try something or just hold the ball. If you watch Ryan Wade now, he may just try and throw the ball down the field.
9, 8.
Heels are going to be feel good just about to get in the quarter to end.
And that will do it for the first 15 minutes of play in this ACC Lacrosse Championship game. It's the North Carolina Tar Heels 3 and the Maryland Terrapins 2 from Byrd Stadium in College Park. Welcome back to Byrd Stadium, College Park, Maryland. After one quarter, it's the North Carolina Tar Heels 3 and the Maryland Terrapins 2, as we're joined now downstairs by Steve Stederson, the Executive Director of the Lacrosse Foundation in Baltimore. Willie, you coached Steve during the early 80s at Carolina, 2 NCAA titles. Take it away.
Steve, thank you for taking time out on Sunday to come down for this ACC Championship. I've got 2 questions for you. One, tell the viewers a little bit about the Foundation's role in tying all these various groups in lacrosse together, and then I'd like to hear your impressions about this championship tournament.
Well, the Lacrosse Foundation is the National Development Center of the game. We're based in Baltimore. It's our responsibility to make sure this game grows throughout the U.S. and abroad. So we're involved in just about everything from equipment safety research to television production to you name it. So that's what we do.
And Steve, how about this championship game, and what's it mean to college lacrosse and lacrosse in general?
Well, the ACC Championship, as you know, is a relatively new thing, and I think it has all the color and pageantry of what lacrosse is all about. I think all it does is show more people how dynamic and exciting this sport is. Maryland does a great job of hosting this event.
All right, Steve, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the second quarter.
Take care.
Thank you, Stenny.
Steve Stederson, the Executive Director of the Lacrosse Foundation and a former member of the North Carolina Tar Heels Championship Clubs.
Steve was a great lacrosse player for Carolina, Kenny. He was a midfielder, a 6'2" or 3", 210-pound midi. And the face-off now for the second quarter.
And we're underway. It's controlled by the Tar Heels. Donnie McNichol
Donnie's going to take
down
it all
the right
way.
wing.
Donnie didn't get good placement on that shot, but I think Carolina would like to see him take those quick shots off face-offs.
This is Greg Nayland for Maryland. They trail by the score of 3-2. Shots in that first quarter, 9 for North Carolina. Maryland had 7.
And I think that indicates in itself that Maryland's going to shoot the ball. They're going to take their chances when they've got the ball.
Maryland going from left to right in the second quarter. Lambert defending the goal to our right. Matt Back of the Terps defending the goal to our left. Glad you joined us on this Sunday afternoon ACC Sports Sunday on HTS.
This is something you see a lot. Midfielders behind the goal now because of the long stick restrictions. Bad pass. It got knocked on the ground. Tar Heels get the turnover.
The pass from Reading was intended for Parks.
Now the ball should go down the side. Watch it go behind the goal. And now he'll be looking for people filling lanes. But we're changing. North Carolina is changing on the fly.
Oh, you sound like you used to coach this team.
I got to watch that. I keep saying we.
I'm not talking about that. I mean, you knew exactly what they were going to do.
Well, that's some stuff that should always happen in certain sports. Ryan Wade's got the ball now. Look for Ryan to make something happen.
Dave Klarman, of course, a longtime assistant under yourself with the Tar Heels.
Dave was my assistant for 11 years and did a great job with handling the defensive stuff. Pretty point-blank shot right there from Jason Wade. Great save by Matt Back, and Matt's going to punt return the ball out. He's going to have a little break here.
Here he comes, Matt Back moving in, and he puts it over the net.
Now, Kenny, if you're going to shoot the ball as a goalkeeper, that's where you tell him to shoot it high over the top, because if he misses and the goalkeeper saves it, he's got a long way back. Watch Matt come down. No one picks him up because they're hoping Ryan's going to catch him, and now he's got a shot. And he just whizzes it over the top. But if Gary Lehrman saves that ball, that's a tough situation for the Terrapins.
Matt Back's third shot of the season.
Oh, has he scored yet? I haven't seen the stats.
Has 2 assists.
2 assists, that's pretty good.
And here's a shot, and that goes just wide. Shot taken by Jay Pasco of the Terrapins.
I'm telling you, the Terrapins are going to be shooting the ball. That has been established. Ball gets checked on the ground again by North Carolina. Now watch the transition. Got to make a pass here. Got to make a pass. Now Ryan Wade's got the ball, man on his back.
Oh, and it's stick checked away. Good play by number 24, Brian McElhaney.
Good job by Steve Shatner, though, to pick that loose ball that was caused by Maryland.
3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. It's the Tar Heels 3.
Again, the ball's checked on the ground.
Tar Heels 3, Maryland Terrapins 2.
North Carolina will sub on the fly now to get some of these kids that were just in the defense. So Carolina will hold the ball out just a little bit until they get the numbers right.
In comes Kyle Durkee, number 21 for the Tar Heels. Carolina setting up now in deliberate fashion.
Carolina's got a pattern called, which they're trying to just work the ball. John Webster's going to go back and forth.
And it's scooped up by number 18, Sean Crawford. Here come the Terrapins. Crawford watched by Shatner. Throws it up top to Pasco. Pasco tries to spin away from the defender, looking in front.
Good checks by the defense. He had a guy open, but they got him from behind because they were sliding to the Maryland guy working the ball.
Robert Chomo in the near corner.
Kenny, we thought that Alex Martin would play McMahon, and he's playing number 10 Chomo. And that may indicate that the Carolina staff thinks that Chomo may be more dangerous than offensive player.
Well, Chomo had a huge game in the title game last year. The save by Lehrman. Another ankle save. We saw that late in the first quarter.
Oh, great ground ball in the inline by Greg Paradine. He finds the midi. Now look for North Carolina to press the action here a little bit. If Donnie McNichols, it's actually a 4-on-6, 4 for North Carolina, so he'll hold it out.
Getting back to Chomo for a second, he had 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists in last year's championship game against Carolina, but the Tar Heels held him scoreless in the first meeting this year.
Well, that may indicate that the Tar Heel coaches think that he may be the guy you've got to hold down.
And another score for North Carolina. They now lead it.
That was
a score of
a great
4-2.
individual effort. Let's see if we get it on the replay by Donnie McNichol. He's going to go to the goal line, little stutter step and a right-handed pull, a bull dodge. Oh, the guy misses him completely. And Donnie can get some mustard on the ball. Watch this shot and how quickly he goes off, and just no chance for Matt Back. He had no idea where it was going to go.
Danny Reading, we can make a
So 2 consecutive goals now as the Tar Heels have broken a 2-all tie. They go ahead by the score of 4-2. Donnie McNichols' 13th of the season.
Maryland wins the possession on the face-off. Ben's got the ball. Jomo
thought about shooting. Snaker, number 30.
That was Donnie McNichol on
this
the last
first
goal.
half. It's North Carolina 4.
That was Donnie
Maryland
McNichol on
2
the
just
last
off
goal.
the bench. Number 7, David Goko, senior from Towson, Maryland.
Kenny, those face-off situations that you just saw, it's not sometimes the initial draw, but it's the fight for the ground ball. And Maryland came up with the fight for the ground ball to gain possession.
Goko counters behind the net.
He's being played by Ryan Wade. Ryan's a pretty good defender and fouled him. I just gave him the kiss of death.
So the Maryland Terrapins will have the extra man.
May have two fouls here. Got a slash on number 19. We may have 2 men down. Ryan's going to hit him right in the head. Bang. That's a minute right there. Now they may call another foul. I'm not sure. And they do have 2 calls, a 1-minute slash and a 30-second hold. So Maryland will have a man advantage for a 2-man advantage for 30 seconds and a 1-man advantage for a minute.
David Goko certainly taking one for the team here.
That was a great play by Maryland. Now Maryland's in their 3-3, and North Carolina's got to play what we call a box. It just looks like they're in a 4-cornered box, and they're going to stay tight. They're going to give up an outside shot, but try not to give them anything inside. And Maryland's going to try and draw.
And they score!
And shoot.
Jay Pasco, his 9th of the season.
Now Maryland was just drawing and shooting, and I have to let you know that that's got to be a play the goalkeeper's got to help you on a little bit. Although he gets a lot on this. Can't tell if that's a tweener, if it goes inside, stick side. Now we're all even because that goal nullifies the penalties.
Jay Pasco, a senior from Baltimore, bringing the Maryland Terps back within 1.
Donnie McNichol controls the face-off. He just clamped and turned and scoops the ball up. He's got the green light right now on face-off to try and make something happen. Now he's on the goal line extended again.
McNichol scored the winning goal last year in the championship game with just 14 seconds remaining.
Looks like he's setting up to try and make a run at the cage.
So McNichol, the hero last year. Let's see if he can score his second. He puts that one high and wide.
Exact same play as his goal that he scored a moment ago. Now Usman Green is going to ISO behind.
Green also with a goal today, and that was stopped by Beck. Picked up by Green.
North Carolina playing with middies behind. TJ Shemitis being played by a defender. They're going to try and get the Maryland guys that have the short sticks trying to play the most defense. Usman again with number 17. Tar Heels just moving the ball around the horn.
Carolina with a 4-3 lead. Another stop by Beck, and the rebound is put home. It's now 5-3 Carolina.
Now they call those garbage goals in lacrosse, but that's no garbage about that. That's a great play by Danny Levy to pick the ball out of the air and get it back on target. Watch Danny play the rebound. Boom, the ball bounces off. He's in his stick, and he just tosses it in the open goal. That is a great play.
Second goal of the game for Dan Levy.
You tell guys if you put it on target, something like this may happen. It may bounce off of him, and Danny's right there. And I feel bad for the Maryland guy because there's not much you can do about that.
As we said, Dan Levy, a Baltimore native. In fact, 12 members of this North Carolina Tar Heels squad hail from the state of Maryland.
North Carolina has traditionally done a great job here in the state of Maryland, getting some of the best high school players in different places. A technical foul in the face-off by Maryland, which gives the ball to North Carolina without even the attempt at the face-off.
Tar Heels with the 5-3 lead.
Kenny, in lacrosse, like other sports, the unanswered goals are important. And Maryland scores, but they don't get the next goal. Now North Carolina has gotten an equalizer. North Carolina's got a little pick play. Look for him to try and get Ryan Wade's left hand, and they do, and he's going to shoot it.
Here's the shot, and he scores. Ryan Wade. And his first goal of the afternoon.
If Ryan Wade gets the ball down low in that position, he is awful tough to stop because he can control it. Watch him turn left-handed, and now he's in scoring position. Look at that. And you have to feel badly for Matt back because there's not much he can do. He just runs by this guy's left hand, and the guy tried to go over the head. He needs help on that play. You've got to double team these great offensive players.
The Tar Heels with 2 goals in 35 seconds. Ryan Wade is 23rd of the season. And for the first time today, the Tar Heels have taken a 3-goal advantage. Here they come again. That shot taken by Jason Sanders.
Jason didn't get much on that, but that's another point-blank shot. And on face-offs, North Carolina will take that every time. Go right at you off a face-off.
7:11 to go. Here in the second quarter, it's the North Carolina Tar Heels 6 and the Maryland Terrapins 3.
Now North Carolina will try and move the ball. They've got the Maryland kids on the field that maybe Maryland doesn't want on the field. Oh, good check. One of the important things in lacrosse, Kenny, is if you check the ball on the ground, is you get it. And he checked the Rattleball boy checked the ball out of Spears' stick, but Spears was able to pick it right back up.
Top right, top right.
Maryland had the territorial edge in the first quarter, Willie, but here in the second, it's been all North Carolina.
Good shot by Kyle Durkee. He went right-handed, and he got a little bit on that ball.
Top right side.
2 goals apiece today for Dan Levy of North Carolina, Bob Huggins of the Terrapins. It's 6-3, Tar Heels with the lead.
Another pick for a left-handed guy down low.
Make it 7-3.
Kenny, that's a set play that Carolina runs. It's North Carolina calls it 2-3, and that is a look. They were looking to get that. The left-handed guy came in and picked for the crease man. If we get the replay, you'll see Jason Wade will be inside. He comes off the crease and catches the ball right where Ryan caught it. And that is prime shooting territory. And you can't let the guy receive a ball right there. If he can receive it right there, it's tough on a defense.
So less than 2 minutes after the Ryan Wade goal, his younger brother Jason scores his 7th of the season.
That's a nice little play by Carolina. That was a set look.
Ryan and Jason Wade from nearby Davidsonville, Maryland.
Maryland's got a little something here in this face-off now.
He's down by Chomo. 5:45 to play. Quarter number 2. It's North Carolina 7 and Maryland 3. The Tar Heels looking to win their 9th ACC Championship and their 6th in a row.
Maryland setting up in what is a traditional isolation formation. 1-4, little wrinkle and dodge. They're looking for the same thing Carolina just got. A little pick inside for an outside guy. And TJ Shemitis will just punt return this ball out. And if no one plays him or stops him, he'll go right to the goal.
Shemitis with the centering pass. Here's the shot and a save by Back. The shot taken by AC.
I think the referee called illegal touching, which means it had to have hit a Maryland player on the glove. Must have touched the ball with his glove hand. I can't tell. Let's see where the ball comes off. Watch this guy up right there. Touched it with his hand. A no-no in lacrosse.
Willie, we spoke during the first quarter about Maryland trying to get as many shots as possible on Lehrman. They have not had many chances here in the second quarter, so the coach Dave Klarman and North Carolina.
I think Carolina, Kenny, has done a great job of winning faceoffs and then getting the next goal and keeping the ball on offense, which in any sport is always your best defense.
Exactly, and that's one thing Dave Klarman pointed out. He said he hasn't noticed a difference in the team's defensive style in front of Lehrman the last couple of games, but he said they've been smarter on offense. And he said if they were smarter on offense, the game they lost to Virginia, they probably would have won.
I think Dave's right, that if you play better offense and they don't have the ball, they can't score. John Webster took a hard angle shot that time, but he's pretty low. And I think that anytime you can get shots down low, you've got to take them.
Guzman Green with the ball. He has a goal in this first half.
North Carolina working a lot of screens away from the ball. They were looking for Mike Acey's left hand across the cage. Now Danny Levy will bring the ball to the goal.
Levy spinning in front. It was a stick checked away. Good defensive play by Radebob.
Maryland did a great job on the ground ball. They got 3 guys over there fighting for it. North Carolina checked it on the ground. Now Maryland's going to have to get it out. The count is on. Oh, Chuck Bresci with a great stick. Now Alex Martin will carry the ball until he's picked up. He sees he doesn't have anything. He gives it off. Steve Muir makes it interesting.
Muir watched by Reading.
Now Carolina will change on the fly.
Okay, I'm after the
John Webster sends behind the net. 3:20 to go in this second quarter.
North Carolina is able to get a line on and off the field, and Maryland's going to sub with them.
Levy now throws it up top. It was 3-2 North Carolina after 1. And they've outscored Maryland 4-1 here in this second quarter.
Right now North Carolina's got their midfield on. They're going to have a little, looks like a little 3-man play here. Watch it flip back. Brian will look for his left hand. Good check by the Maryland. Oh, that could be a slash, folks, and it is.
Ryan Wade took the slash. Carolina continues to work it around.
This is a slow whistle, Kenny. If they keep it in that box area, they can control the ball for a long time here until they lose possession.
And now we have a whistle.
On the short stick. You get over there now.
Technical foul, though, during the slow whistle. It may be a simultaneous, but North Carolina had possession. Let's see what happens here. This is one of these complicated things in any sport.
Go ahead and put down the slip mic and go get her.
1 minute.
Okay.
It's being called on Jason Wade of North Carolina.
We've got 2-minute fouls. One on Maryland, that was the initial one on Ryan Wade. Then they called another foul on Jason Wade. Jason was trying to get back for the foul they had on his brother. But I think we'll be 5-on-5, Kenny. Both teams down a man, and this is one of those non-releasable situations, I think. Whoever has possession now, these will be minutes served.
Radebob 1 minute for slashing.
43 Carolina. 1 minute for personal.
And a personal on Jason Wade of North Carolina.
Kenny, 5-on-5 is actually a better offensive situation than 6-on-6 because you have more field to work with now.
North Carolina with the ball and a 7-3 lead.
Even though we're in a penalty situation, don't look for North Carolina. Oh, my goodness.
Throws it up the right wing.
Too bad. Kenny, Ryan Wade knocked the ball out of bounds, but John Webster was trying to feed cross cage, and Matt back to goal. He did a great job of just picking the pass off. Now Maryland have possession near the midfield line. Still 5-on-5.
2:11 to go here in this first half. And a timeout called by the Maryland Terrapins. They trail by the score of 7-3. It's been an up and down season, Willie, for the Maryland Terps, a record of 3-4.
Very unusual year for Maryland, obviously. Very unusual for Maryland to have a record like this, a great program, great tradition. They've called a timeout now, and I would anticipate that Coach Adele's going to try and settle them down. They need to get a good shot. They need to get a good shot, and it'll be interesting to see who he's going to have handle it. We anticipated that McMahon would do a lot of it, but it may be Mr. Chomo.
And as you take a look at Maryland coach Dick Adele, the ACC all-time career winning percentage leaders among coaches. Willie Scribes, number 3.
I didn't know that. I never saw that stat before.
All-time record of 120 wins, only 37 losses.
I was lucky. I had a lot of good players when I was at North Carolina, and those kids were the ones that won games. I didn't win a game myself, and I feel very privileged and fortunate to have been in a place like North Carolina as a coach.
How about Dave Klarman of the Tar Heels?
Dave's done
39-4 in 3 years.
Dave's done a great job. He doesn't know what it's like to lose a lot of games because he hasn't lost a lot of them. One game this year, a couple last year, none his first year. He's done a great job with these kids that he's got down there playing great defense. I like North Carolina's chances this year, even without Billy Day.
Dave Klarman learned everything he knows from you, right?
Well, I told you before the game, everything Dave knows I taught him, but I didn't teach him everything that I know.
Didn't teach him everything you know. Hopefully he doesn't watch the tape and hear that. He'll be ringing the doorbell tomorrow morning.
I'm just kidding. Dave's done a great job, and I've admired the way he's handled this team. North Carolina's playing pretty well right now, but look for Maryland. 5-on-5 situation for a few seconds. They've got to get a good shot. Let's see what they're going to try and do.
One thing that's really helped the North Carolina club through the years, and especially this year, the depth. Tar Heels able to keep fresh legs on the field all the time and wear down their opponents.
North Carolina has always tried to play a lot of people. Right now, Dave's got 3 new attackmen in the game, and he'll probably play these 3 kids throughout the first half here. Oh, my goodness. That's not something that Dick Adele had planned on. Look at this.
Oh, the beautiful centering pass from Carey, but Phillips could not hang on. Under 2 minutes remaining in this first half.
Maryland came out of that situation pretty good. They lost the ball, and North Carolina had a great opportunity. That would have been a heartbreaker and maybe even a backbreaker. H. Harden strips the ball. H will just run this thing out. Now, he may go right to the goal if no one picks him up.
Harden now with the drop.
Donnie McNichol's going to go to the goal.
McNichol watched by Pasco.
This is Brendan Carey. Brendan is in trouble.
Carey triple teamed as the Terps look downfield.
Alex Martin battling for the grounder up near the line. Look how strong Alex is on that ground ball. He had a couple of guys chopping it. And a great look by Alex to the left-hander.
Oh, he hit the post. What a pass by Alex Martin.
That was a great look by Alex. That's Greg Langhoff. Carolina keeps the ball alive. They're coming right back at Maryland. We've got a minute to go now.
Donnie McNichol with the shot.
Donnie throws it over the top. That's good action. That was good scramble action between the restraining lines.
Well, Maryland had the edge in time of possession during the first quarter, but here in the second, it's been all Tar Heels.
I can't remember them having the ball a whole lot, Kenny. North Carolina calls a timeout, and now Dave's going to try and get a goal.
North Carolina with the 7-3 advantage. And you talk about the success that the Tar Heels have had. They've reached the semifinals of the NCAA tournament 11 of the last 13 years, 13 consecutive NCAA appearances, 4 titles in the past 12 years. Maryland, on the other hand, Dick Adele has reached the NCAA tournament 5 times. He was the 1992 ACC Coach of the Year.
Kenny, we feel, the athletic department at North Carolina feels a great sense of pride of the accomplishments of this lacrosse program. To be in the semifinals as many times as we had, it means that we've got a good solid program from year to year. That's something we're very proud of, and there's a lot of hard work that goes in there, but I want you to know that North Carolina's athletic program overall is tremendous, and for lacrosse to add to it makes people in lacrosse feel really good.
And Willie, not only is Byrd Stadium hosting this ACC Championship, but May 29th, the NCAA Men's Division I semifinals, and the championship game May 31st here at Byrd Stadium. The women's Final Four will also take place here May 15th and 16th. So a big month of May for the sport of lacrosse here in College Park.
Well, if there's a capital of lacrosse right now, it is College Park, Maryland, hosting this ACC tournament and the women's championships, and then the men's final championships later in May. Maryland has a wonderful facility here. The field has taken a beating this spring because of the weather on the East Coast, but they're going to get it in good shape.
4 years ago, Byrd Stadium set the all-time overall attendance record for the Final Four, over 44,000, including a record 23,000 at the championship game.
Kenny, I was privileged to be a coach in that Final Four, and what a thrill it was to walk in here in a full house coaching the team in lacrosse. It was a great experience for the kids that played in that Final Four.
And a good crowd here today at College Park. Ironically, Carolina technically the home team because they are the higher seed, but obviously it's the Terps' home stadium.
That's right. North Carolina coming out of the timeout. They're going to have a set look. They're going to have a set play. And Ryan Wade may be someone they're going to try and wrinkle and get open. They go to Jason Wade opposite the Kings.
Back made the stop. Now 35 seconds to go.
Donnie McNichol goes over his head, and they're going to call a hold. They're either going to call a hold or a push with no... Oh. Technical foul. Watch Donnie go over his head, but they call that a hold. That's a close one. It could have been a loose ball hold. Very close call. I don't want to disagree with an official, but if it hadn't been called, I don't think the North Carolina people would have disagreed with it.
If you were coaching, would you be arguing right now?
I would be saying something to the official. I would be telling him what I thought of that call.
And what did you think?
I thought it was close enough to be a no call, to tell you the truth. Now Maryland takes a timeout. What have we had? 3 timeouts in 3 minutes here now.
Each team, of course, allowed 2 timeouts per half. The Maryland Terrapins look to break a 7-game losing streak against the Tar Heels.
Kenny, and to get back to the officiating, because these guys do a great job and get a lot of criticism, obviously, and us in lacrosse, like all sports, like to criticize officials. It's something you do. But I believe that officiating is part of the game. That sometimes they call things and sometimes they don't. Just like in hockey and in basketball, if it's a foul and a guy calls it a foul, it's a foul. And you got to play the next situation. So I don't mean to sound too critical of the officials. I don't want to be. That could have been a no call. It could have gone either way. I thought it was that close.
As we take a look at the Tar Heels, discussion during the timeout, they're ranked first in the nation, picking up all 11 first place votes. Maryland ranked 13th in the latest coaches poll. Now only 12 teams get selected for the NCAA tournament. Obviously Maryland with a couple of games remaining in the regular season, 3 to be exact. What do you feel their chances are at this point?
Kenny, Maryland obviously with a 3-4 record, they're in a tough situation, and I think everyone knows that, and Coach Adell knows that. So they've got to feel like that they could win this thing and win the rest of their games on the schedule. They've done all they can do. But there's still a lot of games to be played this season. We're just at the end of April, and there's some very important games next week in May. Maryland with a 30-second foul, 29 seconds in a quarter, so they will go for it. They're in their 3-3 right now, and Carolina will start out in a zone.
Lehrman, the North Carolina goalie, has not been tested much here in the second quarter.
Now a little draw, and now they're cutting into a circle. They're going to look to draw. Now they're going to cut into a 1-4 kind of look here.
Just 15 seconds remaining. Here's the shot, and it goes wide. Shot taken by number 9, Jay Pasco, who scored Maryland's last goal.
Almost the same kind of play. They just got it to him right-handed. They let one go. Maryland gets the ball inside.
Dan Reading with 5 seconds remaining.
That was a great look. He got the ball inside to Reading. It's very tough to do anything if he can catch the ball in there. Watch, it goes right past Chuck Bresci's stick. He catches it and gets it off, and there's not much Gary Lehrman can do. Defensively, what you got to do is get a piece of that ball. You got to get a piece of that ball so it doesn't even get to that guy. Give credit to Maryland, though. Heads-up play. I don't know if that was something they called or those two kids just looked for each other.
So Dan Reading pulls Maryland within 3. Final seconds of this first half.
He's going to go right to the goal. He may get a shot off.
And that will do it.
Kenny, those end of the period goals, Maryland seems to have a knack for that. They got a bunch of them against Virginia.
Well, Maryland connects with just 5 seconds remaining in this first half. Perhaps they'll gain some momentum as we go to the third quarter. At the end of 30 minutes from Byrd Stadium in College Park, it's the North Carolina Tar Heels 7 and the Maryland Terrapins 4. We'll be back with halftime festivities from College Park in just a moment. Welcome back to Byrd Stadium in College Park, Maryland. Kenny Albert along with Willie Scroggs, the North Carolina Tar Heels, leading the Maryland Terrapins by the score of 7-4 at halftime. We're joined downstairs now by Sue Tyler, the Associate Athletic Director here at the University of Maryland. Sue, it must be an exciting time for everybody involved with the Terrapins Athletic Department, the ACC Championship here this weekend, and then in the month of May, both the men's and women's NCAA Final Fours.
Yeah, we call ourselves the Capital Lacrosse, and we're going to have a extravaganza, Triple Crown, we're calling it, of lacrosse this spring. And the weather, I hope, will be nicer, and the field is recovering. So we're looking forward to a fine couple of weeks of lacrosse.
Sue, this is Willie Scroggs. How about highlighting a little bit of the differences between the men's game and the women's game for the viewers?
Well, the women's game has a little bit more transition because we don't have the substitution in the long sticks. We don't have end lines, sidelines, much less substitution, a lot more free-flowing action, some set plays. They're probably more different than any two games named the same. We don't wear helmets or, in fact, we wear skirts. Some people say we wear a kilt to play the game, so that it's about as different as you can get and still use a similar stick and a ball, because the sticks are different. The ball's pretty much the same.
Sue, how about some of the teams that people should be looking for to maybe participate in the women's championship?
Well, we have Maryland again should be one of the teams in it. We're certainly hoping so. We have a freshman and a sophomore, Betsy Elder from close by, and Kelly Amante are doing very well. We're currently ranked 2 presently. We have Harvard that's a contender, Penn State always, Temple, Virginia is always a good match. So I think it's still yet to be decided. There are some critical matches yet to be played, but we're looking forward to having the Terps here.
Okay, Sue, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck during the month of May. The women's semifinals and finals May 15th and 16th, and the men's on the 29th
Hope
and 31st.
to see everybody here. Thanks.
All right, Sue Tyler, the Associate Athletic Director at the University of Maryland. The Terrapins trail North Carolina by the score of 7-4 in this ACC Men's Lacrosse Championship. Kenny Albert, Willie Scroggs from College Park. We get set for the start of the second half. North Carolina Tar Heels leading the Maryland Terrapins by the score of 7-4. We'll take a look at some statistics from the first half. Willie, North Carolina out shooting Maryland 25-14.
Well, that's a stat that stands out on that screen right there, Kenny, is Carolina getting almost twice as many shots as Maryland. Maryland has not put as many on target, too, as the Tar Heels, because their goalkeeper, Matt Back, has had 13 saves, where Gary Lambert's only had to make 3 saves.
And the extra man opportunities, Maryland.
They're about, about even, 5 and 2-ish, so that's not too lopsided.
Face-off to open this third quarter. Maryland in the red, of course, going from our right to left. And North Carolina left to right. Carolina scored 3 consecutive goals in under 2 minutes to break open a 4-3 game to 7-3, and then a late goal by Reading of Maryland to make it 7-4 right before halftime.
Kenny, like basketball, the beginning of the second half, the end of the second quarter, very important times.
This is Huggins shooting, and he scores. Bob Huggins with the hat trick. And he brings the Terps within 7-5.
I'm telling you, Bob Huggins should shoot the ball more. Right-hand drive, he gets his arms free, gets a lot on it, it goes offside. Just a great play. It's got to be a big lift for Maryland coming out of the locker room.
Bob Huggins, a senior from Sykesville, Maryland. He scored 2 goals on Friday against Virginia, and he has 3 here this afternoon.
I don't know if he shot the ball more than 4 times, and he's got 3 goals.
So all of a sudden, the Terps with a late second quarter goal. 5 seconds to go in the second quarter and 30 seconds into the third.
Here comes Carolina.
Here's the shot and a save by Back. Back had 13 saves, as you said, in that first half.
That's a great save by Mack, because Donnie McNichol got the ball off in a hurry, but was right at him.
Chris Grimmerick goes up top. Number 18, Sean Crawford. You can sense the Terrapins may feel they've regained the momentum now with 2 consecutive goals to pull within 7-5.
That goal at the end of the quarter, again, those kind are hard on lacrosse teams. You don't get that one back. Now Maryland, this is a game.
For early second half from College Park, as the Terps trying to bounce it in. Brian McElhaney
if he had put that ball on target, he'd have had something. Big, tall McElhenney, big, tall kid at 6'5" for a midfielder.
Sean Crawford throws crossfield to Pasco. It's a 7-5 North Carolina lead. Pasco sends it just wide. So Maryland certainly getting their opportunities here in the third quarter, something they did in the first, but not the second.
Would you think that Coach Adele told the Maryland Terrapins to shoot the ball in the second half?
I would say so. They shot the ball in the first quarter, but the Tar Heels controlled most of the play in the second, outscoring Maryland 4-2 in the second quarter. But it's been
another shot
so far here in the third as they pull within 7-6. James Pasco with his second of the game.
Kenny, that's a great dirt shot. Ball bounced way outside the crease and hops up over Gary Lehrman's stick. Tough shot for a goalkeeper, but a great right-handed shot. Watch him just unleash this thing. It's going to bounce way outside the crease and up over his shoulder.
Jay Pasco, the senior from Baltimore, scoring his 10th of the year, and the Maryland Terrapins have scored 3 consecutive goals. They've pulled within 1.
North Carolina's controlling a lot of the draws, and they may have a little something here off the face-off.
Here's the shot, and that goes wide. Matt may have gotten a piece of it. So it's been a tough third quarter for Gary Lehrman.
Matt Bax had to make 2 good saves here in the beginning of this quarter. He's made them. He's a very big kid and takes up a lot of room in that cage.
As opposed to Lehrman on the other end, only 3 saves today and 6 goals allowed. 7-6 lead for the North Carolina Tar Heels with a record of 11-1 and make it 8-6. The quick shot by Steve Muir.
That's the same kind of shot that Maryland scored on. The big bouncer outside the crease. Kenny, this is a shooting field right now. It's starting to get dry and hard. Watch Steve Muir go right. He's going to bounce it way outside. Watch the big bounce on this thing. Boom. That's hard on the goalkeeper. This ball will just bounce right up over him.
You might call Steve Muir, number 32, a hometown, home team sports player from Bethesda, Maryland, the home of HTS.
He's a Landon School kid, Steve. North Carolina again controlling the face-offs. They've been controlling them.
Well, it's been an exciting third quarter so far. Maryland
Alex Martin's going to go right to the goal.
And his shot goes wide. 8-6 North Carolina.
This is good lacrosse action. This is kind of end-to-end.
Remember on Friday, North Carolina had a tough first half as they were deadlocked at 2 with Duke, but they took total control in the second half, outscoring the Blue Devils 11-4. But it's been a different story here as Maryland came out storming in the second.
I think North Carolina physically wore Duke down by playing more people than Duke had. And Maryland, I don't think that's going to be as big a factor against Maryland as it was against Duke. I think Maryland can play more people, and physically Maryland has always been a big, strong team.
Steve Spears, number 14.
Check.
Spears had it knocked away, and it's
grab the ball, check the ball away, and a good little wrap check.
Matt Ritter goes back to the goalie, and back goes upfield. Kind of an errant pass there by Matt Back. Steve Shatner.
Again, you want to get those plays cleared. Like here's North Carolina with 2 in a row. With Ryan Wade with the ball out front.
Wade shoots and back with another save.
Good back up by John Webster. Matt Back takes up a lot of that goal. That ball hit him, but that's a good save.
Matt Back set an ACC tournament record Friday with 25 saves, and he has 15 here today.
I thought he played terrific on Friday night with a lot of bounce shots going away, but he's gotten a couple high hard ones now that he's got the pieces of.
10:45 to go in this third quarter.
Here's that little wrinkle that Ryan Wade scored on earlier.
And he set that wide.
got the shot off. I tell you, he puts tremendous pressure on the defense, getting the ball down low like that.
The AZ coach Dave Klarman of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
You can see what kind of respect Maryland has for Ryan Wade. They put one of their best defenders, a kid that normally plays behind the goal. Great stop again by Matt Back. Jason Wade coming from behind the goal.
Matt Back has been the story of this second half for the Terps.
In lacrosse, the goalkeeper can have more of an impact on the game than any one player. He tried to thread the needle to an attackman and got picked off by Greg Paradine. And here's 3 in a row for North Carolina.
Good job, Greg. Well, believe it or not, we've gone about 2 minutes without a score. It's North Carolina leading Maryland 8-6, 10 minutes to play in this third quarter. Beautiful day for lacrosse here at Byrd Stadium.
Carolina's going to get Ryan Wade out of the game.
Levy behind the net. This is Kirky.
Carolina able to change a midfield and get fresh middies in the game.
Guzman Green watched by Nyland.
Guzman will try and look for himself and then go back and look for cover. Good wrap check.
Ball still loose at the slot, and it's picked up by Webster.
Up with it. Oh, what a great shot, Kenny. What a difficult shot. Left-handed going away from the goal, opposite side. You've got to really be a shooter to get this ball on target.
John Webster connects his 21st of the season, giving Carolina the 3-goal edge once again.
Great wrap check by Maryland. The ball goes on the ground, and now the fight for the ground ball. So important. It kind of bounces out. There's Webby. He gets it. He goes lefty. And watch this shot. You can't do that with nobody around. That's a big-time play, folks.
John Webster now a 12-game goal-scoring streak. He was the MVP of this ACC tournament a year ago.
That's a good play by John Dolan of North Carolina to check the ball away from the Maryland guy. Calls a turnover, and it'll be Tar Heel ball. I think they've won in this quarter the vast majority of the face-offs.
Well, North Carolina came in, Willie, having won 70% of the face-offs this season.
North Carolina traditionally faces off a lot of different people, not just one person. And that in itself can wear you down if you only have one principal face-off guy. Kenny here's about 5 in a row now, offensive possessions for North Carolina.
Carolina setting things up once again, 8:40 to play, third quarter. They have a 3-goal lead for the second time this afternoon. Muir throws it over to Green. On the far corner, it's Levy. John Webster. Oh, he was looking for Langhoff.
Tried to spot feed Greg Langhoff.
Let's go, guys.
Matt Back. Upfield.
This is important for Maryland to get this ball cleared and under control. A little bit of a situation here.
This is Nayland. Oh, he was looking in front for McMahon.
We're going to have a flag, and it's got to be a personal.
35 points. Home. 3 hands.
The referee called a hold. That means that TJ Shemitis, number 35 for Carolina, had to have held that Maryland boy. Watch him put his free hand. His free hand was on the Maryland defender, and you can't do that.
30 seconds.
So TJ Shemitis will sit it out for 30 seconds. Maryland with the extra man.
Good scoring opportunity for Maryland. They're in there 3-3. Carolina will be in the zone look. Now Maryland has shot the ball twice, just an outside shot, and been very successful. Number 9. Pasco over here in this right-handed spot has got 2 goals a day on extra man, I believe.
McMahon's pass broken up, and the goalie there been able to scoop it up.
Well, Carolina's going to have a little something here, Kenny. Look at this.
The lead pass and a score. Greg Langhoff gives the Tar Heels a 4-goal lead.
That's great lacrosse. The goalie to a midi to an attackman, a shot in what, about 5 or 6 seconds? It's awful tough to feed inside against a zone defense. Good look by Donnie McNichol. He gets the ball behind a defender. And Greg Langhoff shoots it offside. That happens so fast that it's tough for the goalie to get settled. That was a man advantage. North Carolina scored with a man down. Those will come back and kill you in lacrosse games.
So 3 consecutive goals here in this third quarter after Maryland pulled within 1.
Kenny, Maryland didn't get a good shot on extra man, and that's always a key, to get a good shot.
What poise by the Tar Heels to hang in there for the 2 early Maryland goals.
Jude Collins again on a great face-off. He finds Ryan Wade. Now, Ryan's a little dangerous in the open field.
Behind the net is Langhoff, who just scored the 10th North Carolina goal.
Watch this little wrinkle now. It'll be a little wrinkle, I bet, for Ryan Wade. He's inside.
Langhoff behind the net. Being watched by Radebaugh.
Carolina's calling out a pattern. Greg will bring the ball to the goal. He'll probably throw it behind the goal. He goes out front. Now watch this left-handed pick over here. Here it comes. There's Ryan Wade. He catches the ball, but the Maryland guy does a good job. North Carolina's tried that 3-4 times, and they've gotten 2 goals off of it. Now Ryan Wade's in the open field.
And he shoots that one just wide. Whistles one by the cage with 6:27 to go in this third quarter.
Maryland's double teaming the ball from out of bounds. No goalie.
Wade's shot was blocked.
Now, Matt Back comes out of the cage to play the ball in the end line. Very effective for Maryland. They did it against North Carolina in the first game. He's such a big kid, it's tough to get around him, even though there's no goalie. Greg Langhoff comes up, he's looking around. There's a little pick down low, and Steve Shatner had the ball and booted it away.
So it will be Maryland ball once again.
Ball be coming this way.
As the Terps send in a trio of Elfstrom, Huggins, and Reading. 3 new midfielders in the game for the Terps. AUC number 34, Matt Back.
I don't know what's taking so long to get the play started. Aaron does a nice job of stick working the ball out.
Eric Elfstrom with some room. Elfstrom shot on the screen.
And that was a pass that the North Carolina defender checked the guy it was intended for, but it still almost got through. This is not Maryland's kind of game right now. One quick attempt, and now Carolina's got the ball back.
Maryland controlled the early portion of this third quarter, but since then it's been all North Carolina. Goals by Muir, Webster, and Langhoff. Here's the shot at a save by Back.
Great save. Off stick side low, and he made a great save, Matt Back.
A shot taken by McNichol, who scored earlier.
I think Matt can take a little more time. He doesn't have to try and jam the ball out like that. That's hurt. Watch this thing low and away, and the big sweep he'll make to get it. Watch the head of his stick go all the way across his body to get this ball. Look at that. That's pretty amazing.
18 saves for the junior out of Annapolis, Maryland. They say he's the biggest goalie in Division I lacrosse.
I believe he is. Maryland had a kid a few years ago when I was an assistant coach at Johns Hopkins, Billy O'Donnell, who was a big kid, a 6'2", 230-pound player. But again, here's another double possession for North Carolina. Steve Muir will try and bring it to the cage against the defensive midi.
Muir with the shot, and
Matt
Back once again. 19 saves within 6.
He kept that ball alive in front of him. Now Maryland's got the ball, stick worked out, it looks like.
Terps moving in, and
Gary Lehrman with a great save.
That back, now the interception, and the shot.
Another
Lehrman
great
once again.
Gary Lehrman came up big for Carolina that time, Kenny. Two great chances by Maryland.
There, but only 3 saves in the first half. 2 right there.
Oh, flag down.
Make it 11-6.
That'll be a technical foul, though. The goal will wave it off. It'll be a hold.
T.J. Shemitis scores the goal, giving the Tar Heels a 5-goal cushion for T.J. Shemitis' 8th of the season.
Now, Kenny, we call this play kind of the change-up shot because Matt Back has made some great saves on some hard shots. This one is not as hard. Boom, it goes down and just beats him coming back up. But look how close he is to the cage when he shoots this thing. I bet he's about 10 yards out when he lets this thing go.
T.J. Shemitis, a senior from Glen Head, New York.
Kenny, I told you at the beginning that if Maryland wants to play a game where they shoot the ball more, the ball could be coming back at them a lot more, too.
4 unanswered goals by the Tar Heels. They now lead it 11-6, 3:45 to go. In this third quarter, North Carolina looking to win their 6th consecutive
great
ACC
play by
title.
Jude Collins. He just banged the ball between his legs inside. Now North Carolina's got a little play.
Working around quickly. And they score once again. Back not able to make the stop, and Steve Spears puts home his 22nd.
I think that was Mark Phillips in the right-handed spot for North Carolina. Maybe their 7th rate attack when they played. He finds Steve Spears cross cage and he just dunks it in the open goal. And Steve acknowledges the assist by pointing to his teammate. Look at this, cross cage. And there's an open goal. Nothing Matt Back can do if that ball gets through there.
The Tar Heels 5 goals in the last 9 minutes, 5 seconds.
Kenny, I think it's tough for Maryland to play this up and down kind of game against North Carolina. It's not their kind of game. I think they figured if we can shoot the ball on Gary Lammer, we're going to get some goals, but they've shot the ball, it gets on the ground, and North Carolina is so dangerous bringing it back down the field. And North Carolina will not pull out. They're going to come at you.
Your body was in there awful good, baby. Did you think stick checked in?
I think Coach now has got to try and get his team under control. It's 12-6. We're in the third quarter.
A lot of game left.
He doesn't want to lose grip here entirely. His kids were doing a pretty nice job beginning of the third quarter.
Get the ball. Come on, let's go. Hey, hug.
Somebody in that Maryland huddle said there's a lot of game left.
This game, 6-goal lead. If Maryland can cut this thing to about 8 or 9 by the quarter, 9-12 or something like that, it's a game. Maryland needs the next goal, though. They need to get 7-12 before it becomes 13-6, Kenny.
Relax your face.
3.5 to go in this third quarter. Maryland pulled within 1, 7-6 early in the third.
My recommendation would be let Huggins shoot the ball.
Well, the senior midfielder cites for Maryland, Bob Huggins, with the hat trick. He has 3 of Maryland's 6 goals, including 2 in the first quarter.
Carolina continues to do a great job on the faceoffs.
Streaking down the left side is Sanders.
That's Jason Sanders, a freshman. North Carolina's faced off with about 5 different people here today. And another cross cage look picked off nicely by Robin. Ooh.
Come on!
Mark Phillips just checked the ball away from him, kept it alive. Now it's a scramble.
Picked up by Sweeney, Darren Sweeney of Maryland.
Steve Spears is doing a whale of a job on him. A whale of a job. They may have a delay call. They've got to get it out in 10 seconds, and they didn't. A whale of a job by Spears, a whale of a job by Mark Phillips of ragging the Marylands and keeping the ball in their end.
Time violation.
Kenny, I can't tell you how important it is. Here's another double possession for North Carolina.
We saw this many times during the second quarter.
Your left side, you have no pick.
Wilson Felton, number 22. This is Muir, who started the 5 consecutive goals. He gave Carolina the 8-6 lead.
And North Carolina has Levy and Spears, 2 senior attackers, but they brought a freshman attacker in. So they're getting some rest. They're not playing, and they know there's a lot of game left.
Felter almost lost it. Kept alive by the Tar Heels, and that shot goes wide off the stick of Sanders. Now the centering feed.
We're either going to have a push or an offsides.
39 red, interference 30.
I was just handing a stat, North Carolina out-shooting Maryland 2-1. That's a big difference.
40-20 overall, the shots on goal edge for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And they have a 2-1 edge on the scoreboard as well, 12-6.
More bad news. Maryland called for a technical violation. It'll give North Carolina the advantage for 30 seconds. That's something that Maryland didn't need.
33
North Carolina in there, 3-3.
Watch your pipes, Dale.
Interference was called on Danny Robbins, number 39. So the Tar Heels setting up once again with the 6-goal lead.
They drop a guy behind. Wade cuts lefty. They get the ball to John Webster, and he gets blocked. But I think it's going to be Maryland ball.
Greg Nayland on the block, number 15. And it will be the Terps' possession with 1:36 to play.
Nayland got a stick on it, and the rule is the closest player when the ball goes out of bounds, and that was a Maryland teammate.
We had a sideline.
Now they're still down a man in a clearing situation, so North Carolina may try and put man-to-man pressure on.
Unnecessary.
Now the long look downfield.
Kenny, I don't know why that kid did that, because he's just given the Tar Heels the ball back.
That pass was intended for Bordy. Mike Bordy, number 3.
We're all even now.
Now a minute to go in this third quarter.
But I didn't feel like he was under pressure to have to throw a long pass like that, and with a Carolina defensive kid right in great position. Danny draws a double. Donnie McNichol takes the outside shot.
And Donnie McNichol with his second of the day. And it's now North Carolina 13.
Donnie McNichol.
Kenny, this is just dodge and dump lacrosse. Danny Levy's going to come to the goal right-handed and draw Donnie McNichol's man. Watch when this double comes. He throws it to where the guy came from, and Donnie can unleash it. They don't get the full rotation, and there's the dirt bounce shot here in Byrd Stadium. There should be another Maryland defender coming, and he's late. And Matt doesn't have a chance. Matt Back does not have a chance on those balls because the ball can hit and skip, or it can bounce high.
So the Tar Heels now 6 goals in a 12-minute stretch, breaking open a 7-6 game. Donnie McNichol, his second of the day, 14th of the season. Carolina coming back for more. Ryan Wade stopped by Matt Back.
I think that ball got blocked going in, maybe before it got to Mack, but again, there was North Carolina coming right back at him.
Eric Elstra. Under a half minute to go in this third quarter.
Well, maybe Maryland will score with about 10 seconds ago, like they've done in both their tournament games here this weekend. They need to get a good shot here going into the fourth quarter.
McMahon trying to spin in front. He was taken down by Parody. Final seconds of this third quarter.
I think McMahon was looking for the call. Danny Levy just tries to shoot the ball at the buzzer.
And that will do it for quarter number 3. What a performance by the North Carolina Tar Heels after Maryland cut it to 1 at 7-6. Muir, Webster, Langhoff, Shemitis, Spears, and McNichol. 6 different goal scorers within a 12-minute span. And the North Carolina Tar Heels have opened up a 13-6 lead in the ACC Lacrosse Championship with 1 quarter to go. Kenny Albert, Willie Scroggs back at Byrd Stadium in College Park, where the Tar Heels lead the Terrapins 13-6. We're joined downstairs by Gothard Lane, the Associate Athletic Director here at Maryland, in charge of operations and facilities. Gothard, it has to be an exciting time for you and the university, hosting not only the ACC Championship, but the NCAA is coming up in May.
Go ahead, Coach Scroggs.
Gothard, tell the folks what they can expect, some of the things they can expect here in College Park for the championships.
Well, we simply have the best of the best coming to College Park here over Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be the Final Four, and last time we had it here, we had the best crowds in the history of the tournament. It was exciting. It was for the best teams in the country that time. It was a wild shootout, and it's going to be that great again.
Gothard, we know that the field's taking a beating. What kind of preparation are you going to do to get this thing in better shape?
Oh, we're going to hydro seed this week, keep everybody off it for 2 weeks, and it'll look like a carpet by the time they show up here in the end of May.
Gothard, great job with this tournament. Everyone in lacrosse really appreciates what Maryland's doing this month for their Triple Crown.
Well, we welcome everybody to College Park. Come on down. The gate's open. We want to see you here.
Thank you, Gothard.
All right, Willie.
All right, Gothard Lane, the Associate Athletic Director here at Maryland. Fourth quarter underway with North Carolina leading by the score of 13-6.
Kenny, again, North Carolina doing a great job on the face-offs, and they were right down the throat of Maryland, right off a face-off. Ball got checked on the ground. Now Maryland's got to clear it.
Really a bit of a pattern developing over the first 3 quarters. Maryland scoring twice in each quarter, but North Carolina getting stronger as the game progresses. 3 goals in the first, 4 in the second, and 6 in the third quarter.
Kenny, I have to think that that's a depth situation, that Carolina's playing more people. Maryland is not going to get the job done if they only score 2 goals in this quarter, I can tell you that. So they're going to have to really start going to the goal, and that could hurt them. And Kenny, Maryland just had an unforced error where I think some miscommunication about someone going over, and they tossed the ball out of bounds. New goalkeeper, this is a freshman from Philadelphia, Brian Doherty, highly recruited kid coming out of high school.
So Brian Doherty replaces Matt Back, who made 23 saves over the first 3 quarters.
Kenny, my opinion is it's not Matt's fault that the score is the way it is. Believe me, there are some tough shots. And if this kid, Doherty, can stop him, I'm going to be surprised. And this is a tough place to put a freshman in at the 4th quarter of a championship game. I just hope that they don't do something that could hurt this kid's confidence.
It's the first action of the season for Doherty. Back had played all the previous games, all 7 games, so Brian Doherty thrown into the fire here in the 4th quarter.
Well, I think Coach Adele is trying to get something going. Oh, Gary Lerman fought that ball off and comes up with a save.
Lerman has really come on here in the second half. Once Maryland pulled within 7-6, he made a couple of big saves there at the end of the 3rd quarter.
He fought that ball, and that was a tough shot because it was kind of an off-speed shot that he just kept it in front of him.
As Maryland comes upfield, something we spoke about in the first half. You mentioned Alex Martin was playing Chomo most of that first half. Chomo held off the score sheet so far today.
Well, that just shows you, Kenny, that the coaches, particularly Carolina coaches, know a lot more than you and I do.
Well, maybe a lot more than I know.
In the Virginia game, McMahon seemed to be the one handling the ball an awful lot. And they put Alex Martin on Chomo, and Chomo has not been a factor in this ball game.
Here's the shot, a bouncer set in by Parks. 2 minutes gone by in this 4th quarter.
I think you're going to see Maryland shoot every opportunity they have. Now Chomo's got the ball working on Alex Martin, the first-team All-American.
Chomo trying to work his way in, a soft shot.
He draws a foul, though. And it was probably a hold. I haven't seen the replay, but he was driving in, and Alex was holding him. Now he's going to come back for his left hand. Alex has got his stick in there, and that play right there, you cannot hold the man with your stick. And I don't think any of the coaches are going to argue that call. Good situation for Maryland there.
Another extra man opportunity for the Maryland Terrapins.
They're in a different formation now, not the 3-3. They're in a 2-3-1. Look for some kind of back. Now they go to the circle.
Here's the shot. No, it was a pass to Chomo. They work it around, and they score.
That's a very nice little play by Maryland. They went 2-3, went to the circle, got the ball low to Chomo, and he found the guy for a pretty darn good shot.
Dan Reedy with his 2nd of the game, 7th of the season.
When they get the ball down low to number 10, Chomo, right there, he's in great position to find somebody and gets the ball on target.
They had me faked out there for a second. I thought they were shooting earlier. Instead, it was a pass to Chomo, and he found Reading. So that breaks a string of 6 consecutive goals by the North Carolina Tar Heels.
That's a big goal for Maryland. And on the extra man, look at this, though. North Carolina squirts the ball out. They've got a little bit of a break. Mishandle it.
Interesting, Willie, that Maryland has scored first in 3 of the 4 quarters today. And a save by Doherty.
Stop by Doherty. That's a big stop because that's the first shot that he had to stop.
First shot he's faced as a collision. What do you make of the fact that Maryland has scored first 3 of the 4 quarters?
I think it's significant. It really is. And that shot by Ryan Wade, low and away, if Matt Back had been in the goal, it would have been off stick side, but the left-handed Doherty and a goal.
Good point, and now Doherty is beaten by Kyle Durkee, scoring his 3rd of the year, and it's now 14-7.
Off stick side, I think Brian Doherty was arguing that maybe it didn't go in, but the referee is right there. He stops, turns, and he's going to shoot it down and away. And it is definitely in the goal. But it's an off-stick shot from pretty darn good shooting territory. I can't fault the goalkeepers for these kind of goals that North Carolina's getting.
Number 15, Greg Nealon.
Both boys are clamping here. Great picture of it. Maryland kid will try and squirt that ball out and let the guys on the outside fight for it. Maryland's got a little bit of a break.
And they score once again.
Oh, goodness.
Goal number 3,
Mike Forty. Number 3, his second goal of the season. And it comes just 16 seconds after the Durkee tally.
Maryland gets a little bit of a 4-on-3. Big right-handed shot. He just beats Gary Lehrman.
Let's go, 40. I can't see that.
He's got room and time. He puts the ball on the ground. Boy, that's just down your throat on these goalkeepers. North Carolina continues to do a great job on the face-off, and Jason Sanders just threw the ball behind his back to a Carolina kid, which he really didn't have to do, but North Carolina wins a little scramble for him.
Willie, with the Tar Heels leading 14-8, we talked about the depth of this North Carolina squad earlier. What about the balance there? 14 goals have been scored by 12 different players. Here they come again, and it's now 15-8. That one scored by Jason Wade, his second.
Kenny, North Carolina has never had an offensive player that had great stats because they do share the ball so well. He's going to come right down the gut. You've got to stop the ball in any sport. He misses this back check, and that ball bounces up over Brian Doherty's right side, away from his stick. It's kind of handcuffed him. I'm telling you, Brian Doherty's in a tough situation here, folks. A freshman in the 4th quarter of this game.
So 2 goals apiece for Dan Leedy, Donnie McNichol, and Jason Wade of North Carolina. Wade came into the game with 6 goals on the season, now 8, and it's a 15-8 North Carolina edge. While 12 different players have scored for the Tar Heels, only 4 different Terps have put the ball into the net. 3 by Huggins, 2 for Pasco, 2 for Reading, and 1 by Mike Forty. North Carolina looking to double up Maryland once again. It's a 15-8 Tar Heels lead.
And Jude Collins has done a terrific job for North Carolina on the face-offs. As a freshman, he has put unbelievable pressure on Maryland by winning those face-offs.
This is Scott McMahon in the far corner. He scored the game winner on Friday night.
Maryland can't afford to be real patient anymore. They're going to have to make some runs at the cage and try and draw and get the shot or the pass off.
Alstrom working his way in.
North Carolina doubles.
Chomo's pass not able to be handled by Reading. This is Chomo once again.
North Carolina doubled that dodging midfielder, and Maryland got the ball behind and found the guy inside, but the pass was a little off target, or he's got a good attempt.
Dan Reading taken down. 10 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
I think Reading's got to try and take this young freshman. He's going to work him as much as he can to try and get a shot. They can't get a better matchup than this. Look at this, a triple team. Flags down.
34 White, hit him in the head.
Chuck Bresci, number 34.
You can hear that up here, a little slap across his head. Chuck's going to go for the stick, but gets the boy in his helmet, and H. Harden gets him in his helmet.
Flashing on number 34, Chuck Bresci.
Maryland again with a good extra man. Let's see, Kenny, if they go back to the 2-3 to try and get the ball in a place where they can find somebody.
Coach Dave Klarman of North Carolina wants to talk things over. He calls timeout with 9:42 remaining in this fourth period. It's North Carolina leading Maryland by the score of 15-8.
Kenny, a couple things are going to happen in this timeout for Coach Klarman. He will review with the extra man defensive unit that last play that Maryland scored on, and he's probably going to tell his guys that they're leading, and if they have the ball down on offense, Maryland can't score, so they're going to probably start to play more deliberate when they get the ball. This game's not over yet because everyone who knows anything about lacrosse knows you can score in a hurry. But if North Carolina starts gaining possession, they will, I think, play a lot more deliberate. There's a lot of time left. They're not going to try and ice it, but they're going to play more deliberate.
The Tar Heels have already exceeded their average of 14 goals per game.
I gotta hang in there, help Chuck with the credit. I realize that. You gotta help out a little bit. When you see the ball move, you see Greg going, we gotta go.
Really, when you look at North Carolina's 11-1 record, what makes it more amazing is 9 of their 12 games have been against clubs ranked in the top 20 in the country.
I think North Carolina's had a terrific year, Kenny, and the key has been that defensive group and the balance they have in the offense and the midfield, the attack, being able to play a lot of guys. Ryan Wade is as good a midfielder as anyone has in the country. Donnie McNichols certainly a very, very fine, strong midfielder. North Carolina's got any one of a 5 or 6 attackmen that they could play, so they've got some depth and good defense. Good combination. Maryland sets up in their 3-3, a different formation, but they're going to the circle, and they're going to make North Carolina just try and play around the circle. Now they cut to a 1-4.
Maryland with the extra man. Here's the shot, and it's deflected out by number 41, Greg Paradine of North Carolina.
That hit a defender on the way in. Maryland in there 1-4.
Once again, the Terps working it around. 9:15 to go, and they score from the right side of the net. It's put in by Jay Pasco, and for Pasco, that's the hat trick.
He's made a living over there today, shooting that ball from the right-hander spot. This ball, I think, just confounds Gary Lehrman, the Tar Heel goalkeeper. The big bouncer up offside. What a great field to shoot lacrosse balls on. Watch this thing hop. That's what's great about the dirt field, the grass field, the natural field.
I bet you wish you were back down there playing.
Well, we have a field down at Carolina, Fetzer Field, that gets like this when it gets dry and hot. That ball can go anywhere. Good check by H. Harden from behind. Again, North Carolina wins a face-off, which really hurts Maryland. They need possessions.
And as one who is in charge of the outdoor facilities at the campus in Chapel Hill, I'm sure you make sure that the field is to the advantage of these lacrosse teams.
Well, as you can see on this field out here, the areas in front of the goals will get worn away because of the concentration of play. And then when that stuff dries out, you don't know how the ball's going to bounce. It's not like the AstroTurf. So it is a lot tougher on goalkeepers. And in the late spring, when that stuff dries up, a cloud of dust always occurs when you bounce the ball on the ground.
It can cause problems for the goalies as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 15-9 North Carolina lead in the ACC Lacrosse Championship here at Bird Stadium in College Park.
Now, Dave Klarman has got some of the reserves in. He's still got Ryan Wade and Mike Acey, but he's got some of the the second attackman and midfielders in because he's resting his first liners for the stretch run.
Greg Langhoff.
Look for the officials to be given some serious thought unless North Carolina goes to the goal, which they're kind of doing right now, so that'll end any kind of keep it in situation. You've got to make a move at the cage.
Ball set up front. Keep coming, Dirk. Ball right front. Ball easy on it.
Dave's got Mike Acey and Ryan Wade, two seasoned players in with a couple youngsters.
This is Langhoff. Greg Langhoff tries to spin towards the net. And
oh,
the shot.
My goodness.
Steve Shatner has given North Carolina a 16-9 lead.
Kenny, a heartbreaker of a goal. Another one of the garbage varieties like we saw in the first half. Steve is going to go inside roll. He's going to get a shot off. It bounces off of him, and look at Shatner picks it out of the air. Just a heads-up play by Steve Shatner.
That's 13 different goal scorers for the Tar Heels.
And there's not much that Brian Daugherty can do about that play. Maryland has not been able to get the possessions. It's got to be a flag down. Illegal procedure on Maryland. They'll give the ball to North Carolina, and they're right back at you.
As you mentioned, North Carolina has done a terrific job on the face-offs, and there's a save by Daugherty. Brian Daugherty, the freshman, entering the game at the start of this fourth quarter, replacing Matt Back. He played very, very well. 23 saves for Matt Back in 3 quarters.
I think Coach Klarman will speak to the midfielder that shot that ball because it didn't have to shoot it. Now here comes Carolina, a little bit of a scramble. The ball go down the side. Mike Acey taking a shot. Well, Kenny, I may be mistaken. Maybe Coach K has told him to shoot the ball on the young goalkeeper.
That could be Brian Daugherty seeing his first action of the season. This Maryland's 8th game. They'll host BMI next Saturday. They travel to Towson State and conclude the regular season against UMBC. There's still 3 games remaining for the Terps, and another stop by Daugherty.
Nice save by Daugherty on that play. That was a pretty good play by Jason Wade.
I've got a play on! Interference! Break clear!
Kenny, that was a play-on situation. The goalkeeper from Maryland came up with the ball, and the Tar Heel hit his stick. So the referee had to play on. And even though the ball went out of bounds, it was Maryland's advantage, so they just give him possession. No time serving, no penalty.
Sean Crawford, number 18 for the Terrapins. Crawford moving in, and oh, what a stop by Lehrman.
Lehrman fought that one.